So I have with me here the Leia, the lovely. Ew, oh, goodness. Let me slow down my brain. I'm sorry.
Slow it
I'm s-
down. You'll get it.
I'm here. I'm here with the lovely Leia Valor, Leia plus size.
Hello, everybody. This is Leah plus size, your lovely lady of valor. And yes, we're going to talk about villains. Do we really have villains these days? And we're going to have fun with it as well. So I am ready to go. I'm glad to be with you all this afternoon. Well, Um, the best way for me to express about body positivity is I have to use my own story and my own journey. And that's the best way for me to express that. As you guys know, when I was growing up, body positivity meant something that was totally different. It meant that you accepted your body, or accepted your body type, but you tried to take care of that. Case in point, for me, I've never been a single digit size. I take after my mother's side of the family. My father's side of the family, everyone is thin. They're just naturally thin. Even when they get older in their 70s and 80s, they just don't put on the weight, and they can eat anything they want and they just don't get a pound. They are one of those people. Even with my dad, is I have to get on him about his diet because he just whoops down a lot of high cholesterol foods, but it has not affected his weight at all.
Mhm.
It's what he was used to eating when he was growing up, and he's still used to it now. But he never really gained a lot of weight despite all the food that he could possibly eat. But on the other hand, unfortunately, I did not get his genes. I got my mother's genes. And on my mother's side of the family, we're all plus size people. And
Mm.
I got that I inherited from my mother. So I do think some of the body tissue in your body and some of your weight is genes. Whether part of it is whether you like it or not, it's some of the genes that you've been given with, and genes are something that you can't change. So I've never really been. My other sisters got my dad's genes. I got my mother's genes.
Mm.
So I've never been a single digit girl, and I've had to come to grips with that and struggle with that because when I was growing up as a youthful person, I was of the MTV generation, and you saw the supermodels everywhere. Everywhere were the supermodels, the magazines, the music videos,
We'll
and
get
you
into
saw
that in a
them.
bit too.
Yep, and you saw their images, and you wanted to be what they were, and that can cause some other eating disorders that have quite about, which is anorexia and
Mm.
bulimia. Those can lead to that. So I had to find a way to build my own self-esteem. So I was curvy. Like I said, I've never been really a single digit.
Mhm.
However, in recent times, after my last visit to my doctor for my regular checkup, I didn't get a very good report card. And my doctor
Nice
told me
way of
that
putting it.
yeah, they're right, exactly. That changes had to be made. And I wanted to make those changes because I didn't like the way that I look, and I didn't like the unhealthy bad eating habits I had developed. I'll confess to that.
Mhm.
So I worked to try to change those bad eating habits. Now, along with body positivity that I grew up with was loving and accepting the size that you are. Everyone just cannot be one particular size. Everybody is built differently. Some are shaped like apples, some are shaped like pears, some are shaped like triangles, and so forth. What I'm doing myself is I accept the body shape that I am, but I also come to realize that unhealthy habits are not good. So some changes had to be made, and I was willing to accept them. I don't disagree with them. See, the thing is, I think both sides have points, and we're not listening to each other. You have the one side that hears body positivity, and they think, well, I am just proud to just be sitting on my fat self and on my couch and eating my 12-piece donuts and 12 cans of soda and my candy bars, and I'm not going to
Sounds like
exercise, and I'm going
Melissa
to laugh.
McCarthy.
Yeah.
Goodness,
And laugh.
goodness.
Yep, and laugh at all you people you do. Ha ha ha. That's what one side hears. The other side is saying, well, yes, I like the size that I am. However, I am not, I also accept that good diet and exercise are just important to maintain that. Now, I may not look like that, but I also admit that there is a pressure to look a certain way. And if you don't look a certain way, then you must not be taking good care of yourself. So I think both sides do have a point. My conclusion for myself that I had to come to grips with is yes, you can. The body positivity I grew up with is yes, I don't see anything wrong. I personally do not have anything wrong with a woman that is proud of the shape she is, because it takes a lot of
Mhm.
confidence to be yourself. It takes a lot of confidence to love to accept yourself. But before you can make those changes, you have to accept yourself first. Now, once you accept yourself first, then you can go and make the changes you need to be a healthier you. And that's what I've done.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. So that was one of my problems with the Falcon, with Special Guest Star Winter Soldier, is it's like they were trying to make him sympathetic. Zemo
Mhm.
is not sympathetic. Why are you doing this? There's
But he
nothing
had a
sympathetic about it.
family in Age of Ultron that died in Sokovia. I don't give a snoot.
Good habits.
Yeah, and with me is I hate to come subject, but with me, with Hollywood, it's a double-edged sword, because to me,
Mhm.
when you hear celebrities talk about health, sometimes it's not always health. Sometimes it's I need an acting job, so I got to get down to a size that will be acceptable to an
Mhm.
audience. It's not
Yeah.
always the health, and then they forget that for the everyday person who wants to do the same thing, it's going to take them maybe longer. They're not going to be 100 pounds in 6 months. It may take a year or two to get to
Yeah.
that. So they forget how that's supposed to go. But I think in the media, it's again, it's a double-edged sword. On the one hand, with Hollywood, yes, you want to be healthy, but sometimes I guarantee you, those actresses, they want a job, so they realize that really it's about I gotta look, and that's where sometimes, and again, I'm speaking from my own experience and
Mhm.
working with my own dietitian. That's where it starts to falter, because if you're not doing it for your health, you're doing it for acceptance. You'll never keep that weight off, because you'll never be satisfied, or you'll never be happy with it. So I do agree with you. They're divorcing themselves right now, and I think that the body positivity of 2021 is actually hurting.
Yeah.
It's not helping. It's hurting. It's giving a bad stereotype. These, and you guys see the YouTube videos that make fun of the body positivity, which I do agree with you, but I don't believe in making fun of anyone who's heavy. I won't do that, because
Right.
I've been heavy myself, and I'm not going to make jokes about it or give them derogatory names. I
Yeah.
won't do that. But I do agree with you. They're not helping. They're making it. They're not
I would.
helping. Oh, command Wolf, you would make fun. That
Well,
doesn't
here's the
help.
thing. Here's the thing with Lizzo,
I
Wolf.
only
It's
do.
like,
Now here's the thing, Leia. Here's the thing. I
Okay,
only
I'm
I,
listening.
I will only do it if they didn't come correct.
What do you mean by that?
As in rules of engagement.
mhm.
You come at me foul. I redirect with foulness. I'm sorry, but that's just how I've been
Okay,
brought up to. Do unto others as you the saying. Do unto others as you as you will have upon, right?
Right.
right.
And that and I get what you're saying, Led. Like we shouldn't really we push back that way, but at that point it's like, yeah, if you come in peace, let's be peaceful. You come with
Okay.
violence, it will end in violence. And I'm pretty and I have I've already made my decision that I'm going to be the only one standing when the smoke clears. So
Well,
don't
here's my thing.
don't
It's
pull your
like
punches.
we have three examples. We have Missy Elliott, who ended up for health reasons because it was either drop the weight or die.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had Rebel Wilson, who made a, a personal choice, and then you also have Adele, who made a personal choice. Um, when Missy went ahead and did her body transformation, if you will, um, it wasn't 2021. Um, it was one of those things that she kind of eventually came out and talked about. Hey, the doctor said
Yeah.
if you keep doing this, this is what's going to happen.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Well, everyone embraced it. Hey, she looks great. New album, new body transformation. So, but moving fast forward into the into the mid 2000s, even now.
Mhm.
Yes, of course. Yes,
I
there,
am
and that's, yeah.
inevitable.
that's kind of like that's kind of like Randall. For those of you out there, you probably get stuff out there that have watched season 1 of Outlander. Blackjack Randall is the same way that he's not he's not a tragic hero, but he is just the embodiment of darkness. I think he even says that his heart lies in darkness. So he's just the embodiment of that. But Falcon was special guest
Sense a
star
little
Winter Soldier.
accent in there when you said that.
What?
When you quoted Randall. Sense a little accent there. Like, my heart lies in darkness.
Oh well, I guess it pops in there every now and then when when I try to remember the line. Sometimes I do the accent, so it's a habit. It's a habit I had since I was a kid. When I took drama class, my teacher would always say, "It's my voice had a tendency to always to try to go British." So it's just something self-conscious that I do. But that's I was quoting his line, so I just quote it like him. That's the best way to remember it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, back to what I'm saying. You're right, but my problem is the Falcon with special guest star Winter Soldier tried to turn him into a sympathetic type of villain and make him more innocent. And I'm sitting there going, you do realize this guy killed the king of Wakanda, am I correct? You do realize this guy blew up millions of innocent people, correct? You do realize this guy murdered
Where's black folk on that
what
one?
does it?
Yeah.
Mm,
He
Well,
Just to
also
quote,
killed
just to
he
quote
also
Killmonger. Let me quote Killmonger real quick. Where was black
okay.
folk when they try to make him a sympathetic? Like then this motherfucker just killed the king.
hmm
Black Lives Matter. Didn't this motherfucker? Excuse me on both accounts.
Okay.
But didn't this mofo just killed the king in Civil War? A
And
black king, by the way.
yes, yes.
And we're
I
supposed
agree.
to quote Timon from Lion King, and we're supposed to be okay with that?
hmm
Did I miss something? But
Mhm.
continue what you're saying.
I I agree with you 100%. There's beauty in everybody. There's beauty in all types. There's beauty in, like I said, I have sisters who are thin, so there's beauty in their thinness, but there's also beauty in me. So there's beauty has variety. I absolutely agree with you. There is no one type of beauty, and our society has a tendency to do that or to say that.
To quote
So
Sinbad, and where his stand up, where you been? There's something for everybody.
right. I agree 1000%. So that
It's one
quote
of my
is a
favorites,
quote
by
I
the
never
way.
like to hear people say. But I hear it, yeah, it's funny. I hear it a lot in the media and I hear it a lot on YouTube when some commentators have commented on the body positivity movement. They say things like that. And here's another thing I want to confess, and I'm also going to, this is my own personal experience. Name calling, verbally abusive name calling does not help a person lose weight. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't. Only makes them feel worse. A good example of that, I would like to refer to the Eddie Murphy movie, The Nutty Professor, which is one of my favorite, first of all, one of my favorite Eddie Murphy movies of all time. I wish Eddie Murphy had won an Oscar for that role because I loved him and it's one of my favorite comedies from him. And we have the
Mm.
example of Sherman Klump. And as we can see, Sherman Klump is an obese man, but he has a good heart and he's kind and he's intelligent. He has all these wonderful qualities that make him a good person, but he's obese. And there's the scene where he's sitting down, he's looking at the TV, and he hears the "Yes, I can," and then he stands up and he stomps
Yes,
and he
I
says,
can.
"I can, yes, I can." And what does he do? He decides he takes the means he needs to be healthier. He starts working out.
Mm-hmm.
He starts going to the gym. It's a little flustery at first. He's it's perplexing
That's
for him.
how
He's
it
not
is
quite
sometimes.
there
That's how it
yet.
is. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's how it
it
is.
does. But as we progress, he starts to get more comfortable with it. You see him at first not hitting the bag, and then he's saying, one hand on you, one hand on you.
Mm-hmm.
He
One
starts
hand
running,
on you.
starts
One
running.
hand on you.
Yeah, yeah, I like that scene. And he starts running upstairs. So he's taking the means to try to do better. He sees Carla
Mm-hmm.
Purdy, and he decides he wants to take her out on a date. And first of all, I love the way he did it because men don't do that anymore. Knocks on her door, with respect, just says, if you like to, I just like to take you out for dinner, the way men should be doing. So I admire that about Sherman, that he did that. I admire that. I would have told him yes too, how kindly. And he said he wants to go out and have a nice time. So he's going out. He goes to the club. He just wants to have a nice time, having a good evening with this woman, not expecting anything in return, but just I want to show her a nice evening.
Movies, and I've seen I'm starting to see the kind of makeup that they're using for these villain-centric movies, which is instead of having the hero fight the villain, the hero is somehow connected with the villain, which is in the case of Maleficent. Basically, Maleficent curses Aurora, but somehow she's also her quote unquote godmother now, which apparently makes her in like bruh. I'm still tripping out the fact that she still put a curse on the bitch. Excuse me. Like that. That look. You're not selling me on her being a good guy here because she still cursed the baby.
That's what you're supposed to do. It's 2021.
and of course, you got that scene where you get that scene where she's trying to get rid of the curse. I'm like, okay, that's good. Still don't like her. I still don't like her. Guys,
well, the point that Wolf is a commander. I don't mean to interrupt, but the point was the Maleficent movie portrays her as the hero. She really is. She is supposed to be the hero. Whereas in the classic Disney cartoon, Philip is the hero, but he's made to look like a buffoon, and the three fairies who were wise to protect her are like gibbering idiots. So the point of the film was
that. I really.
It also really helped that one of the fairies was actually what's her name from Harry Potter.
Oh yeah.
Umbridge.
Yeah. They were turned into blubbering idiots instead of being motherly comforters to her. And the point of that was to make Maleficent be the hero. That was the only idea of the whole story, was that this wicked evil witch is really the innocent person here. It's the normal people that are the villains, not me.
The party that is wrong. She is the wrong
party. Point. But yeah, you know what, Leia? Now we can get into to what he really did, which wow. And you said by your mission that the men that you introduced this to, you know what I'm saying, that they quit on this part, whereas me, you were. I don't know if you were surprised when I said that.
I was, because so many men told me they never wanted to see it again. They said they traumatized them. They said I never want to watch that again.
I kept going. I guess I'm stronger.
I guess you are. You shocked me when you said that, because just about every guy that sat down with their wives to watch it with was traumatized. Well, one of the reasons Rebel Wilson wanted to lose weight, what you're saying, Commander, is that she got tired of the fat jokes, fat chick roles. She got tired of it. She wanted to be no more than just, she got tired of her. And I can understand what she's saying. I absolutely can understand what she's saying. That she got tired of playing the fat chick, or the fat girl does something ridiculous. The fat friend. You're the fat friend. You're the fat best friend. You're the fat person that you load over everybody else's love life, but you don't have one of your own.
The llama. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I hate to say it, as much as I love Tyler Perry, sometimes he uses that trope a little bit with the large woman. Or you're
there's
there
Cora, there was Medea, of course, and
there's so many facets. There's so many facets to this.
He's a lot of that, and it's very one-dimensional to me. Because I studied drama also while I was and again I was plus size, so it was always the the fat friend, the bad friend, the sister who thinks all men are dogs, the one that you put everybody else's love life together, but you don't have one yourself. The one that says, y'all know y'all like each other. Get on there and get together and make that marriage happen. Or you're the mama in the kitchen whipping up the biscuits, singing it's
Matchmaker.
gonna come in. Yeah, you're the matchmaker. You're the overzealous religious woman. You're all these tropes, and I got bored because I'm like, is that all they see in a plus size woman? That a plus size woman cannot be anything else? And actually, I learned this because when I was plus size modeling, the woman who was a great teacher taught us not to be afraid of sensuality. And I told her, why should we? Because she says, why should we? Because we're large, we're told. And she told me, you have to unlearn all of that stuff. You have to unlearn this notion of somebody telling you that you can't be sensual because you are large. And we had to get ready to, we did. We did a photo shoot where we were in like sensual, not naughty, but sensual
there's
poses because she wanted us to start myself to accept you can be sensual and seductive and all these things they tell you that you're not. And she was, and she showed the portfolio of when she did it because she was a professional model for a time being. She did shows out of state. She went around the world. She modeled in I think she modeled in France for a little while as a plus size woman because she showed us the photographs and everything. It was she said, and this was in the early to middle 80s when I was doing all of this. And she said, and because I had been conditioned that that's the one thing that you stay away from, that you can't be, you have to be goofy
They don't
or
want
silly.
competition. That's what it sounds like to me. It sounds like they didn't want no competition. Once you put yourself out there, that means you are now their competition. And of course, once they see, they see that, and once that person puts themselves out there, that's where they put themselves on the market. And of course, people are going to be attracted to the new. And what I mean by the new, I'm talking about the person who's new, but also is going to put themselves out there and put work into it. They're actually going to make a return in investment. So of course they want you out. They want you on the side as always, sticking to the stereotype. That's and that goes for any situation. Either being you gay, black, straight, Mexican, Chinese.
Because they're very fun. They're very comfortable.
Roots and Bush.
Oh goodness.
Yes, exactly.
Bush or no Bush, they don't want competition. Bottom line, they don't want that competition because that means, oh, now I gotta work. Because to them back then they didn't need to work, but now that when competition brings in, oh, now I gotta work. Just like Rebel Wilson, just like Adele, like, you know what? I'm happy that they chose to do that. I'm happy that that was their choice. That was their choice to make that journey to lose that weight. You know what I'm saying? It's like you should be very respectful. What's that phrase that these people of intersectionality try to preach to? Her body, her rules.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
So she decided to do something for her body, and that's not okay. But you said her body, her rules.
Right? Yeah, right. Yes. Exactly.
I spawned a contradiction there, or hypocrisy. I'm smelling the hypocrisy. Go ahead, Leia.
No, I was going to say, I agree with you 100%. And if I could speak about those two, for example, of Adele and Rebel Wilson, I agree with you also that I'm glad that they are taking care of themselves. And I think it's appalling that people want to bash them for wanting to take care of their health. I think that's a terrible thing. I think that what they should be doing is applauding them and not making...
So stunning and brave that you lost all that weight. So stunning and brave that you lost all that weight. Go, slay, yes, queen, slay, queen, yes, queen, slay that weight off of you. You go, girl.
Yeah.
Well, let me do it Mark Barnes' way. You go, girl.
And also, Monique is well, she's a little bit smaller than she was, and Melissa McCarthy is starting to shred as well. Now, their journey was
Yeah.
about the time I took my journey. So I think that we should be encouraging one another and not bashing each other. I know Adele said in an interview that she was going through a very heavy emotional crisis. She just got divorced from her husband. She became a mother. She wasn't in a good place, and she decided she needed to take better care of herself. And I can relate to that. I absolutely can relate to that. I absolutely understand completely and relate to that. So the only thing we have to remember, and I remember telling this to my counselor in my session, is it just seems like they do it faster than I do. It's like they can lose that weight and they drop it in 6 months, and it takes me 2 or 3 years just to get 2 pounds off. But the instructor, one thing we have to remember, a celebrity's lifestyle, and celebrities need to remember this too. They are also in a better condition than the average person. They have money to get the trainers and the food they need to shed the weight maybe faster than an average person. So they also have to remember that the average everyday person may not have the type of means they have. And it doesn't mean we can't achieve it. We're just not going to achieve it at the rate that they achieve
It
it.
also doesn't mean you should not try.
Well, I think while you're linking, I just want to say that this idea of deconstructing villains, and I don't want to keep bringing this up, but I can't help but to do that, is I think there's just some sort of political motivation. It's just that they see they see normal people as the bad guys, and the ones that are outside of society, the ones that feel they're outside of society for whatever reason, we're the ones being persecuted. So a villain is a person that doesn't want any responsibilities of any kind. They want the easy way out on everything. And for some strange, I cannot find the word to describe this one moment, but it's almost like obeying authority, taking care of yourself, loving one another are seem to be wicked, but disobeying law, disobeying authority is really what the strength is. So this is why I'm seeing this barrage of retelling stories from the villain point of view, because for some reason or another, the hero is really the villain. I can't find a word for what this movement really is, but I'm noticing it just seems to be all they want to come up with. Well, we're going to tell a new version of a story, and but this time we're going to tell it from the villain's point of view. First of all, it's laziness on Hollywood's part because they just don't want to come up with anything new. So they want to take something that everybody knows and flip it upside down. And I still like there's just this some weird political message that normality is wrong, and that the reason I am what I am is because of somebody else. But I don't want to take responsibility for my own behavior. Like you said, Maleficent is cursed as a child for no reason except the fact that she didn't get an invitation to a baby shower. And the movie tries, in the original cartoon version, and the live action version tries to make it play like she's the victim. Well, she's really the victim of the whole thing, and this is why she is what she is, and that everybody else around her is bad. But Maleficent herself is good. But I won't take responsibility for my actions or my behavior or the things I've done. And I'm just seeing this theme, and that's why I think there's a villain shortage. Marvel has a complete villain shortage right now because they're making all their villains sympathetic. Oh, it's really not. It's not our fault that we are what we are. It's society. It's somebody else that made me way. I don't want to take responsibility for my actions or what I do. So that's why there's such a huge villain problem right now in literature and film and like you said, with Marvel, DC, they have a problem because some reason or another there is this hatred towards the hero, and I don't know where that comes from. I can't put a word on it except the fact that
I'm sure a
this
trooper will have an
generation.
explanation.
Well, you know what? If you can explain it better with me, stupid, you can go right ahead because I can't find a word on it except the fact that they're turning on the hero. It's something about the hero, whether it's themselves, they don't see themselves as that, or I don't know what religious beliefs they were brought up with, but they absolutely feel that good is the evil portion, that the evil is the good portion, because with evil there is no responsibility. I don't know where it's coming from. I don't know where it's developed. I don't know why Hollywood's getting on that. I don't know if that's something that Twitter has of those that are on there that feel like they're outsiders or something, but that's why we have a villain shortage right now. We have such a shortage of villains right now, except they want to turn the good guys. I mean, they think the good guys are the villains. Oh, it's Sleeping Beauty that's the villains. It's in the case of Maleficent. In Cruella, I haven't seen, but I'm assuming everybody else outside of her are all the bad guys, but not me. I'm not. So it's just what I'm noticing. Like with Marvel. All the good guys are the truth, justice, American way. That's the bad portion.
I think it's a prejudice, really, that we have right now. It's a prejudice against the hero. That the hero is the impossible standard that we can no longer attain. So we must hate that. Blame them for saying it's like you burned down the building. Oh well, it's their fault for having made the building so flammable.
That's right.
Yeah,
I agree with you. I agree with you.
Go ahead, Leia.
Oh no, I was just going to say I agree with you. That's a perfect word. Perfect word. There is a prejudice against
Jamie in the prison. Go ahead, Leia.
Okay. Well, first of all, I want to say that what I'm about to tell you is not to those in the chat. Excuse me, to those in the chat. Like I said, Wolf has seen the episode, so he knows. But this is not salacious. This is not, for sensationalism. This is a plot. This is the part of the plot of the story, and shows you why this man is probably the most evil. Is the embodiment of what an evil villain is, and
he discovered himself in that scene.
Let's just say that. Already there. Who, Randall?
Yeah, he discovered in that one scene. He discovered himself. He finally figured it all out. He was always confused as to why he couldn't get it up for women, but now he figured it out.
Well, didn't he say it in a way? Didn't he say something about he says something to Claire that his taste ran a rather what's the word he used? Unique or not normal? I can't think of his exact line.
Yeah, what one considered not normal.
Yes. So he kind of was hinting that's why the reason he couldn't get it.
Not only that, he also, and this is so very villain of him. He makes excuses as to why he does what he does. Like he's trying to be he's trying to be cordial about his what basically what he does to Jamie. He's actually rationalizing what he's doing. Yes,
yeah, that's the wicked part of it. That's the really twisted, sick mind of his. It's him rationalizing what he's doing. That's the sickness part of it. You're right about that. That's the evil part of it. Well, anyway, he finally gets Jamie in jail, and this time, and if those in the chat are curious, if you have Netflix, this first season is currently running on there, I believe.
It's gone a few seasons. It's on its fourth season now.
Is season 1 still a part of that, or is it just on season 4? I don't know. I have to see, since I've seen it so many times. I have to check back, because usually they show the seasons 1 through 4, but they may have
merged them.
Season. Yeah. So
sometimes they merge them and put them into parts, which is weird.
Yeah, that is weird
and confusing.
Yeah, confuse you. But the episode is called "To Ransom a Man's Soul." If you dare. But anyway, what happens? He finally trumps up some charges to get Jamie arrested falsely, but he just wants to get again. You're right. He's abusing his power as a Redcoat. But then I forgot the Redcoats had a lot of power over the Highlanders at that time. So Redcoats, if they wanted to make up a charge on a Highlander, they could, even if that Highlander was innocent. But the Redcoats had so much power. Well, Randall abuses his power and has Jamie locked up in this dark, danky cell. And this is where I will use my Liz Treadley. He decides that he is going to break Jamie down mentally, physically, and sexually in this jail.
See, guys, before you continue, Leia, this is why I have Leia plus size right here, because she actually can put it in the pre-note, unlike me, which I went on and on and didn't dance around the topic at all whatsoever.
Well, I'm trying to lay this on. I guess you know what? I guess my experience from what I got from the other men who watched the episode and how they felt. So, I was trying to lay this as delicately as I could. But the bottom line is, in jail, Randall rapes Jamie in any way you can absolutely imagine. The first thing he does, first and foremost, is now I don't say foremost, but the first thing he does is he proceeds to break his fingers. He tells him to put his hand on a table, lay his hand flat on the table. And
basically
I think the
missing the
first time,
meat.
yeah,
Okay.
but I think he puts a nail in the hand so that the hand is stuck on the table. So he impales his hand on the table, so it's stuck there under the nail. And then while it's stuck there, he breaks his fingers with the hammer. He breaks his fingers, causing him to have pain. So there's the first part, and then he proceeds to rape him. That's the best way I can put it. And the rape
After a scuffle too.
Yeah, there's a scuffle. There's a little bit of a scuffle. Mostly, the first thing he does is he begs Randall to get Claire out of there. He doesn't want Claire to see this, or Claire to see him like this. So he has Claire removed so she doesn't have to see this. There is a bit of a scuffle at first, but I was just trying to get to it. He proceeds to basically rape him inside the jail, and it's very brutal.
And graphic.
I was about to get to it. It is brutal. It's graphic. There is some oral sex going on, but this is Randall. Oral is going on, and also from behind it goes on, and it is graphic, and it is very graphic. Jamie is nude, so nothing is hidden from your view. Eventually, Randall gets nude himself, and nothing is hidden from your view. Everything is graphic. It amazes me how they. Glad this was on cable. You can put this on television. Male genitalia is out. Yes.
Stars specifically. It's on Stars, if I recall.
Yeah, it's the Stars Network first aired this episode. Yep. And I think it's
that's funny
on
because
there.
I used to thought Stars was more wholesome than the other networks.
You know what? It's these books. From my understanding, the show has huge fans because it's based on a series of books, and these books called Outlander, and the fans knew about the scene, and the scene. Even the fans were shocked that they were true to this scene because it's very graphic in the novel. So it's not nothing that was made up for television. It was taken straight from the novel. So the fans knew what they were seeing. Or knew what they were going to show. Now it's shocking to me because I can't think of a TV show that shows a graphic rape scene of a man before. I don't think any network, I don't think any show has ever showed that.
FX,
it's graphic, FX, whatever it is. I didn't see it.
Sons of Anarchy.
Oh well, I was it as graphic as Outlander?
Yeah, like I said last Thursday, like the main times when every time they cut back to the prison, especially with Juice being there, you'd be hard. I defy you to find a moment where on the side somebody's getting up the butt. Because there was a scene where one night they're about to close in on the camera closes in on Juice, and right to his left. At least on his right, not our right. There's one who taking it up the butt in silence. There's even a moment where he's taking it up the butt by Marilyn Manson himself, who's a white supremacist in that show. So I'm gonna let Leia lead off with this one.
Well, when this topic came up, I thought about the many stereotypes. I think predominantly, the best way for me to do it is use myself, being a woman of color and also being full-figured, the stereotypes that I've seen over the years. And one of the things I want to bring out is that my own race can stereotype as well, and sometimes not always for the best. Growing up, and even the depictions now, for instance, the full-figured girl was always the butt of jokes. She was the girl that would come in and always thinking about wanting to eat food or having something to eat, and she was just the butt of jokes for especially sitcoms back then. she was made fun of about her size, or or she was full figured. She couldn't get a date. Nobody would date her. Somebody has to come in and help her get glammed up or beautiful or get dressed. Or she would always think about food, or she was overly lazy or breaking furniture. And that always bothered me, because that was like, well, is that how the world sees me, or is that how I'm supposed to see myself? And how the jokes were not funny to me, maybe funny to some people, but not all of them were funny. Now, being of color, that's a wide range area, because you're talking about um you're talking about, from television to film. What's the stereotype of people of color? Well, what kind of music you listen to, assuming that all Black people love maybe hip hop or rap. I grew up with that. Or your zip code determines your education, or side of the streets, or they saw all Black people as on MTV, that we're, everybody's loves their hip hop and their rap music, and that's all we know. Or
Chicken and
what other stereotypes?
cornbread,
Yeah, chicken,
soul food.
chicken, cornbread, soul food, eating lots of that, sitting down, smoking the weed all day.
Smoke
Um,
weed every
yes,
day.
yes, yep, smoking weed all day, or the crack or the drugs or whatever. That's all we know. We're packing heat. We got guns everywhere. Black women are more scandalous, meaning when Black woman always has about a dozen kids. Uh,
And
or,
having a pot belly still.
yes, Potbelly still has a dozen kids.
Angry at their
Doesn't
baby
know.
daddy.
Yes, yep, yep. Angry at the baby daddy, don't know who the baby daddy is, or trying to find out who could the baby daddy be, but still popping out kids sitting on the welfare,
Make a
living off the
keep
welfare.
a baby man. Keep a man
Yeah,
baby.
yeah.
Yes, yep. Staying on welfare doesn't work. Stay on welfare so you can sit and watch. Back in the day, it was soaps, but now it's reality TV all day.
Deluding themselves into thinking they're queens and all
Bad,
that.
bad.
Yes. Oh
Basically,
yeah, yeah.
in short, we're talking about Dashika from Don't Be a Menace.
Yes, Dashiki from Don't Be a Menace. And what's her name? I can't think of her name right now. Oh, another of the black ones that were loudmouths. We're the loudest people in the room. We always
Mm-hmm.
have the loudest to say, and that I can't think of her name. It slips my mind. That easy. Housewives of Atlanta. I sort of think about that one particular.
Perpetuate that completely.
Yes, Housewives. Just say the black.
This
Yeah,
is good.
I think it was Housewives of Atlanta,
All
or
of them, all the
all of them. Yes,
housewives reality shows stuck to that mode and just they patent it, they package it, and then they selling it. They're selling it.
yes,
You know what I'm saying?
and exactly. And some of them, I believe, know they're stereotyping. They know it because they waved the check in their face and they said, "Wow, you're going to pay me all this money to be ignorant? Well, I am going to get on board with that." So I think some of them are not really duped. I think some of them know exactly exactly what they're doing. So it comes in so many broad ways. But for myself, I think uh, seeing the stereotypes, it being also being full figured. That all they think is, all I get up in the morning thinking about food. I wake up in the afternoon thinking about food. I go up and sleep thinking about food. That's the stereotype that they claim, that I don't want any exercise. Just give me my big old 12-piece KFC, and I'm good. While
Yeah,
still thinking I'm hot,
finger
and
licking good.
It used to be
yes,
universally a stereotype to plus size people, or at least overweight people in general.
oh yes,
Until women had to make it about themselves again. You usually when they jump in on that stuff, they usually make it about themselves. Like recently that lady about the whole my obesity is due to white supremacy. I'm
oh
like,
that's ridiculous. Yeah, I don't know why do they allow people. Why do they allow people like that to even say stupid things like that? But I
Oh
guess
well,
I don't know.
everything is white supremacy at this point. I put a
Yes.
few. I put a few articles on MeWe. I think
I
Dude,
believe
you
it.
guys have seen.
they I'm like, you spin tell so well about white supremacy, and you haven't even wrote a book.
It's like
Mm.
I can't even eat a steak now. So and
Oh,
and
you can't. Oh, pretty
whiteness is
soon,
parasitic. So it's
Trooper.
like okay.
Pretty
Huh.
soon, you wouldn't be. You ain't gonna be allowed to eat chicken no more because apparently
Beef
Popeyes won't allow.
is free.
Look, Popeyes says no whites allowed.
Oh,
Can't enjoy Popeyes no. Like.
But again, back to what we were saying. I mean, these days they don't make villains like this. I mean, truly irredeemable people.
Hell,
Randall
I'll
is
even
not.
add.
Randall
Yeah.
is not irredeemable. In fact, guys, that's just the first season. This guy was
Mhm.
around. Second season, he's even more worse. He
Oh yeah.
gets worse every single season. He just
Which
that you guys thought that, yeah.
well, here's the thing, Leia. I will say
Mhm.
this: you said a lot of men dipped up after the scene.
Yes, the rape scene. They did. They were traumatized.
Yeah. I dipped out because my wife washed the head without me. I got
Oh.
look. She watching it in private in our room. I walk in. They already met the Native Americans. Like, I can't watch this no more.
Oh.
I can't watch it no more because now I'm playing catch up, and then you're gonna ask me what happened. Can't do that no more.
You're the first man, Trooper and Scooty. Are you okay after telling this story? I hope I haven't traumatized your minds at all.
Oh, I'm fine. I've dealt with worse.
No, this is just one of those. It's an aspect of villainy that they truly want to show. Like, yeah, this is an aspect of villainy where, I think where you show that this is an irredeemable character.
Mm-hmm.
And the sad thing is, it haunts Jamie so bad. When they do rescue him, but even at that, he wants to commit suicide. He's so traumatized by it, and I think he's shamed. And then also, it's hard for him to perform with his wife because every time he tries to be sexual with Claire, he sees Randall's face and what happened.
Let's explain the context of that one.
Okay.
Where this is where his villainy really shined. I would say is the second time when he performed on Jamie, he conditioned him to think of Claire while he is violating him.
Yeah, that's his. Yeah,
like while Jamie is in his stupor after the torment that he's endured. Jamie is already physically broken at that point, to the point where he basically reeks him from Game of Thrones. If anybody remember Game of Thrones, Theon Greyjoy with Ramsay Bolton, he basically turned him into reek at that point. I'm reek. I'm reek.
Not Theon Reek.
I'm reek.
Yeah,
but yeah. Go ahead.
Go on. Oh, I was gonna say, go on, Wolf Commander.
Yeah,
Commander is right.
Yeah, and in this stupor, he basically just said, think of Claire while we what was that word he said, embrace or something like that. I want you to think of her. I want you to remember her touch as I'm touching you. I want you to think of her as I'm something. I'm just sitting here just watching, just jaw agape.
Yeah,
not at the fact that the first go around shocked me. No, not that I'm already desensitized on that one. You know what I'm saying? No, my jaw is agape at the fact that he went out of his way to condition Jamie like that. Like,
because the thing is that that's what the villain does here, and it's not so much that they're trying to say that. And again, SJWs would rip that apart by saying that's to show that all gays are psychos or something. I'm saying no.
Yeah.
What that scene represents, it's about power, control, trauma. I mean, that's when you break it down, okay? And that's what that's evil. That is evil in one of the many faces and many.
Well said. I absolutely agree. That is an absolute fact. That is why we're getting these Gorillas and Maleficents and just some people might get mad at me, Jokers and many more. All the villains they want to Nemo. Wait a minute, Zemo. Excuse me, not Nemo. I think of Zemo in Zemo and Civil War. Everybody ignores the fact that this man blew up a whole embassy of innocent people just to frame the event. Just to frame the Avengers.
They don't want
All
to sweep it
for
under the rug.
Yes. Everybody wants to sweep this under the rug. That he blew up a whole, and he murdered other people as well. He blew up an embassy.
One
He
of them
murdered
happened to
soldiers.
be the king of Wakanda. He killed the king of Wakanda.
Assassinated
Yes,
specifically,
yes,
and he also murdered a former Hydra agent. Even if the guy again, going back to what I was saying. Sorry, Leia, you can continue after me. But what I want to hammer home is the fact that yes, the person that he murdered is way worse than he is. He's former Hydra, but that doesn't change. That still doesn't change the fact that he killed somebody.
Feel free to talk about it because you actually took care of it. You know what I'm saying? Feel free to talk about it after you took care of it. Go ahead, Leia plus size.
Oh, I agree. I agree 100%. Like my Weight Watchers counselor said, it may not be as fast. Well, the reason she said that is to encourage me not to give up, because many people give up if they don't lose a certain amount of weight at a certain amount of time. If they say, well, I didn't lose the weight I wanted and it's been 6 months, so to heck with it, I'm just going to go back to my old ways. And she encouraged me, don't do that. That's discouragement, and we don't want to discourage.
I'm sorry, repeat that.
Well, it's what she does. When I was talking about comparing to celebrities, they always tell us not to do that because some feel that if they don't lose a certain amount of weight by a certain amount of time, they give up and they just go back to old bad habits. And my counselor, Weight Watchers counselor said, or coach, excuse me, said, you don't want to do that because that's discouragement. We don't want discouragement. That's why what they do is they encourage smaller weight loss in smaller bits of time. So they may say you may lose maybe 1 or 2 pounds a week, but it's still 1 to 2 pounds lighter. It adds up after time. But if you give up and you just say, oh, heck, I didn't lose 50 pounds in 6 months, then you won't stick to it. And that's what happens to a lot of people. And they just give up and they go back to old habits. And we're here. And that's one of the steps you learn is learning. They start you with, don't worry about the scale. Let's worry about achieving new eating habits. Each week we want you to learn something different and encourage you to do something different. And the more you start to do it, the more you get on the path to eating healthy. And you know what? It works. It absolutely works. Very slowly, I started to get away from the bad habits I was having. But it takes time to get there. So you can be encouraged by the celebrities, but don't compare yourself to them. You get there. It'll take longer, but you will get there. But you can't give up on that. That's why I said that we should not be really discouraged when we see celebrities taking better care of themselves. Now, the other hand, when I also have to say that there is a point because we cannot ignore the fact that there is a tremendous pressure to look a certain way in Hollywood. Many actresses or maybe have tried to fit into the body types that they simply cannot attain to. That's a fact also. That should not be ignored. Now, cancel culture does not express that very well. They don't need to make fun of other people very well, but I think they do have a point when they say, when an actress, we see an actress that loves her curves or accepts her curves, and then the next day we see her that she's lost those curves, we feel a little discouraged because she's given into the pressure to Hollywood. There is a Hollywood pressure that should not be ignored. It's there. So that the other side should not ignore that because that is a factor. So I always say that you shouldn't ignore that as well, and that yes,
so even now, you don't have to answer this, but I definitely want to ask this question. So as of now, as we're talking, and like I said, you don't have to answer this. You can say pass, but since we're talking now, have you still been working out as right now?
Yes. Yes. I've gotten much better
Awesome.
at it. Yes.